She shook her head as she felt dizzy and her cheeks burning. She opened her mouth and spat out several broken teeth, looking messy. "How dare you hurt me?" Edith seethed through gritted teeth. She had never been so humiliated, and her reputation had been ruined. "You're dead, asshole. And so is your family. I'll tear you to pieces." Edith shrieked as she pounced toward him like a mad woman. At that moment, she no longer cared about her image. She only wanted to kill Dustin. "Fool," Dustin sneered. He shot forward and gripped Edith's neck before slamming her into the floor. With a bang, Edith's body created a dent in the floor's surface, and she spat out blood. "You quill vegan Vera receiving ano anivi slap dusen." The force pushed her face to one side as two more teeth flew out. While her head was spinning, Dustin sat on top of her and repeatedly slapped her face. "This is for looking down on others. This is for breaking your promise. This is for being a shitty mentor. This is for being an ungrateful wench." A crisp slap accompanied each of Dustin's remarks. Edith's face was swollen beyond recognition when he was done. The Jade Maiden Sisterhood disciples had been rendered silent. Fear was written all over their faces. They initially assumed Dustin must have used a dirty trick to defeat Edith. However, the sight before them made them realize how wrong they'd been. Although Dustin continued smacking Edith, none of her disciples tried to stop him since they knew they were no match for him. "Stop!" Edith was on the brink of death when Nikki ran forward and threw herself over Edith. With a determined look, she said, "You can hit me, but not Madam Edith." "What?" Dustin frowned and raised his hand. Suddenly, Nelson's face appeared in his mind. Dustin could only lower his hand. "I know I betrayed you, Dustin, but she's my mentor. I won't let you hurt her. You can take it out on me if you're still angry." Nikki gritted her teeth, insistent on protecting Edith. "What a good disciple you are." Dustin snickered. "Should I praise you for your loyalty?" He made sure to emphasize the last word. Nikki was stung by his words and didn't know how to reply. Although she felt guilty, she still felt like she did nothing wrong. After all, there was no way she could defy Edith because of a new friend. "I know you hate me, Dustin. If you're still not satisfied, you can slap me instead. I won't fight back. But once you're done, consider my debt paid. We won't owe each other anything anymore." Nikki lifted her head and offered her cheek to Dustin. "Forget it." Dustin looked at her coldly. He only treated Nikki well because she was Nelson's sister. But since she didn't appreciate his help, he might as well stop. He had done all he could, which was enough. "You treated me very well, Dustin, and I'm grateful for that. So I hope you and Madam Edith can move past this. Let's pretend today's events never happened, okay?" Nikki asked tentatively. "Move past this." Dustin burst out laughing. "She tried to kill me, and your fellow disciples were dying to tear me to pieces. Don't you think you're being ridiculous by asking me to pretend like nothing happened? But when will this end? Madam Edith may have acted out first, but you've returned the favor. Isn't that enough?" Nikki frowned. Dustin had already beaten Edith up. What more could he want? "Am I not allowed to hit her when she tried to kill me?" Dustin sneered. "Besides, I'm a petty man. I'm not as kind-hearted as you. There's no way I would treat someone trying to kill me as a friend. Why are you being so unreasonable?" Nikki was irritated. She was trying to resolve their conflicts. Why wouldn't Dustin listen to her? And why was a grown man being so petty? Unreasonable. "Oh, Nikki, you're more biased than I expected." Dustin laughed out loud. "Why didn't you try to reason with Edith when she broke her word? Or when she stabbed me in the back? Or ordered you to drug us? And why didn't you tell her to be reasonable when she tried to kill me earlier?" Dustin sneered. "You're only telling me to be reasonable because you're going to lose. Don't you think the way you're acting is repulsive?" Nikki kept quiet when he was in danger. However, now that Edith was in trouble, Nikki jumped out and tried to guilt him into letting Edith go. How disgusting. Dustin's rapid-fire questioning rendered Nikki speechless. She ran out of excuses and could only put on a tough front. I'm doing this for you, Dustin. Madam Edith is well known in the martial world. Being on her bad side would mean that you have more enemies. That'll just be dangerous for you. I've already become enemies with most of them anyway. What's one more? Dustin shot back. He was the enemy of both Balerno and Glenstead's martial arts alliance. Adding the Jade Maiden sisterhood to the list wouldn't make things worse. Why, you stubborn man? Nikki was exasperated. There was no way Edith would have lost to Dustin if she weren't injured. Nikki was trying to help Dustin, but he refused to accept her help and even intended to make the sisterhood his enemy. He must be crazy. I don't want to waste my time on you anymore. Dustin was getting annoyed. I'll let you guys go because of Nelson, but this will be the last time. If you guys piss me off again, be prepared for the consequences. Now, get out. He practically roared the last sentence. A terrifying pressure fell on the Jade Maiden Sisterhood disciples, causing the women to shrink back in fear. Even Nikki was startled and couldn't speak. Hurry, bring Edith away. Letitia was the first to react. She ordered some disciples to carry the unconscious Edith, and they ran for the door. She knew that it was their loss today. Fortunately, Cum was still alive. It meant that they would get a chance in the future. Dustin Reese, come out here. Someone suddenly roared. The voice reverberated throughout the manor and caused the nearby birds to fly away. What? The Jade Maiden Sisterhood disciples froze up before they came to their senses. Someone kicked the gates down, causing the door to shudder. A group of strong, hostile martial artists appeared. Who are you? How dare you storm into my manor? Dustin walked out of the ballroom and glared at the invaders. You better take a good look at who I am, Reese. A handsome man emerged from the group. It was Terry Doyle. Dustin was surprised. What are you doing here? I'm here to challenge you to a duel to the death. Terry seethed. Ever since Dustin defeated him, Terry had been steadily recovering, biding his time. And now it was finally time for revenge. You're weaker than you were last time. How are you going to fight me? Dustin sized up Terry. Although Terry's core had been restored, his cultivation was nowhere near what it was before. Now he was merely a low-level martial artist. I never said I would fight you. The one who's going to fight you is my mentor. Terry humphed. And who's that? Dustin asked. Listen well. My mentor is the famous Augustus Klein. Terry declared proudly. Everyone was shocked. What? Augustus Klein? Isn't he a grandmother? That's right. Augustus Klein is well known in the martial world. He's one of the 5 ultimate grandmasters of Balerno. Holy shit. Who the hell is this guy? How did he become Augustus Klein's disciple? The Jade Maiden Sisterhood disciples were shocked. They saw grandmasters as beings that resembled God. The martial world also believed that anyone weaker than a grandmother was trash. To grandmasters, strength and status didn't matter. That was, unless one was a grandmother. So every martial artist in the world wanted to become one. After all, a grandmother stood higher than anyone else. I see. But so what? Dustin seemed unfazed. So what? Terry was stunned. Don't tell me you don't even know who my mentor is. Most people would be scared after hearing Augustus' name, yet Dustin was oddly calm. Does it matter? I'm going to accept his duel anyway, Dustin replied casually. He accepted it. Everyone was shocked. Holy shit. Is he crazy? How could he challenge Augustus Klein? This is a real grandmother we're talking about, someone as strong as a god. He must be suicidal to challenge someone as powerful as that. How foolish. Aside from shock, the crowd was also visibly looking down on Dustin. They believed that no matter how strong Dustin was, he would still be beaten into a pulp. You sure are reckless. Terry chuckled coldly. All right, then. Since you seem so eager to die, so be it. Here's the letter. Catch. All right. You can choose the time and location, Dustin answered. Previously, he had challenged Terry to a duel. Now that Terry was returning the favor, he couldn't back down. Good. We'll meet at Shinefield Lake tomorrow afternoon, Terry said.